Sådan. Okay, så kører vi. Velkommen til denne her tredje session af, hvad jeg vil kalde samtaler i stuehøjde. I dag skal vi høre Chris og Doris fortælle lidt om, hvordan deres ophold og oplevelse af skolen på Salt Spring Island har været. Og jeg skal have lige et par praktiske bemærkninger i relation til de næste samtaler, som vi har. Som jeg har set, så har jeg skubbet resten af samtalerne i juli om i august måned af hensyn til feriesæsonen. Og så har jeg gjort det, at for ligesom at få en introduktion nu i de mere basale dele af principperne, så har vi besluttet, at den første onsdag i hver måned er dedikeret til at fortælle lidt om, hvad er det principperne går ud på, og så kører vi så med specifikke temaer i resten af måneden. Og med det så tror jeg ærligt talt, at vi går videre i teksten, og Harry, I would like to leave the word to you for a short introduction, and when you have done that, please pass the word over to Chris, if you will be kind enough to do that. And I will just unmute you. Okay, there you go.
My name's Harry Durbitsky, and I have a strong connection to Denmark because of my dear past friend, Jannik Petersen. And because of that, I've been to Denmark 8 times, and I lived in Denmark for a while. And what I noticed was there was a feeling in Denmark that I was very, very touched by, very opposite to Canada, and that was the Hyggeligt feeling. And within what we're going to be talking about on Salt Spring, the feeling, we're not trying to point to Salt Spring Island or even Chip and Elsie. We're trying to talk about this feeling that we have. And the closest that I see is this Hyggeligt feeling that the Danish have, but we're not talking about from the outside. Everybody knows the Danish have a calm demeanor on the outside. We're talking about being cozy and comfortable with yourself inside. And when you have that, the outside obviously expresses that type of feeling. So we're talking about a feeling inside people. And so we use words that this feeling that Chris and Doris and Pernille and Christian and myself are going to describe is something like when you're with your grandkids. You know, when you have that you're just with the baby and you're just holding the baby and you're to have this incredible spiritual feeling that you're in the moment. So it's like that. That's the type of feeling you have. Or when you're with a best friend and you're just having a good time and you're not thinking and so on. And so in the end, when Chris and Doris changed on Salt Spring, they gave up a lot of this stuff. And then something came into them that was very, very, they were very receptive to. Same thing happened to Christian and Pernille, and then to myself as well. And when that comes out, we become a different person. We become a person who is not dictated by the intellect. And that's what you want to give up. You want to give up that intellect. And you want to, as Sani, whatever, trust that intuitive feeling that you have inside yourself. So we're expressing a spiritual feeling that we all have. And that's why the 3 principles are so powerful, is because we experience this spiritual feeling inside ourselves, and then clarity, peace of mind. And in Christian's example for himself, he then found that he could express things that came out of him that felt really, really, he knew it was truth. And in the end, that's what Sydney Banks talked about, was truth. And so with that in mind, Christian and Doris, go ahead in Danish, please.
Jo, tak. Ja, jeg ved ikke lige, hvad jeg skal sige. Jeg vil faktisk sige det på den måde, og det kan være Doris, hun min side her, var, at Salt Spring Island, det er det sted, hvor Sydney Banks han fik sine indsigter i sin tid. Og før sin død, så blev der simpelthen lavet en aftale om, at Elsie Spittle og Chip Chipman, at de skulle fortsætte hans lille skole på øen, sådan at, og ligesom efter de principper, han havde formuleret. Så det er det, Salt Spring Island er. Det er ligesom et udgangspunkt for Sydney Banks' spirituelle oplevelse. Og det, jeg oplevede på øen, var, at jeg faktisk, jeg havde faktisk sådan på et tidspunkt, at, og jeg taler normalt meget, at jeg faktisk blev tavs. Jeg havde faktisk ikke noget at sige om det, men bare sådan en dejlig fornemmelse indeni. Så, og noget af det, de fortalte os, og sagde meget tydeligt, det er, at det ikke, altså, det var, at det dybest set, det er noget med at finde ind til det sted. Det er det handler om. Og det er jo en dejlig ramme, kan man sige. Men som vi også har snakket om, Doris og jeg, at det kan selvfølgelig også godt foregå ved Vesterhavet, eller i en kornmark, eller hvor som helst på planeten. Det er rimelig, fordi det foregår inde i dig selv, inde i ens selv. Så der er ikke helt så mange ord, fordi det handler ikke om ord. Det gør de 3 principper ikke. Vil du sige noget?
Ja, inden vi tog det over, ganske kort tid inden, var Harry på besøg hos os i et par dage her i Danmark. Og han sagde blandt andet til mig, du vil elske Salt Spring Island og skolen der. Og det er han fuldstændig ret i, fordi der taler man ikke særlig meget. og det passede mig virkelig, virkelig godt, fordi jeg synes slet, der kommer for mange ord og for meget snak og for mange forklaringer. Og for mig er det mere noget med at være, og det er mere noget med oplevelsen, og som det altid bliver sagt, følelsen og det kreative, der udspringer ud af det. Og det var der virkelig plads til på skolen. Og det synes jeg var dejligt.
Og det var sjovt at være der på den måde, tænker jeg, at der var sådan folk, der var der, altså selvfølgelig folk, der var der første gang, men også nogle af de andre, nogen der har været i principperne i årevis, de var også til stede. Altså, der var sådan en form for i gåseøjne andægtighed. Jeg kan også sige, at på et tidspunkt så blev vi sendt ned i byen, fordi det skete jo flere gange, fordi undervisningen er ikke sådan langstrakt, eller der er heller ikke så mange ord. På et tidspunkt så blev vi sendt ned i byen med den instruks, at vi skulle lade være med at tale om det. Vi skulle lade være med at diskutere, hvad vi oplevede. Vi skulle hele taget bare nyde øen, og det den havde at byde på. Det lokale marked. Så lad intellektet holde ferie. Glem det. Ja, put det ind i et skab. Gør et eller andet. Væk med det. Simpelthen bare opleve det, der er. Og jamen altså, det er simpelthen en befrielse.
Jeg følte, det var utroligt dejligt et eller andet sted at blive bekræftet i, at det ikke handlede om hele tiden at tale om det. Fordi jeg tit har det sådan, og derfor deltager jeg egentlig heller ikke i særlig mange webinars og sådan noget, fordi jeg har egentlig ikke lyst til at snakke om det hele tiden. Det er ikke fordi, jeg ikke synes, det er interessant, men jeg har egentlig ikke brug for det, synes jeg. Jeg vil lige så gerne gå ud og tage nogle billeder, eller lave noget musik, eller gå en tur. Og det var faktisk det, vi fik at vide derovre, vi skulle. Så det var sådan, ja, det koblede rigtig, rigtig godt til mig. Selvfølgelig var der også folk, der var en fyr, som fortalte, det var sjovt, at den første dag havde han haft rigtig svært ved det, fordi han hele tiden sidder og tænkte, sig det ikke noget mere, det kan jo ikke passe, vi skal have pause nu. Og
hvornår begynder kurset?
Hvornår begynder det? Hvornår sker der noget? og det ændrede sig så for ham, men for mig, som slet ikke kommer det sted fra, der var det utrolig dejligt og en lettelse, at der ikke var alle de her snakken om det.
Så det er lidt ligesom, det begynder at ske et proces, når man er der, eller for mit eget vedkommende, at tankerne, sådan alt det her fart ind i hovedet, det begynder ligesom stille at falde lidt væk. At det er lidt ligesom at komme ind i sådan en tidsløs sted. Jeg havde oplevelsen af det lidt som to verdener på et tidspunkt. Jeg havde sådan en oplevelse af, at der var den der kendte verden, den der jeg plejer at være i. Og så noget andet, der ligesom begynder at være til stede også. Det er en form for visdom, eller bla bla ord. Undskyld, det siger jo ikke en skid. Men det er der, hvor jeg kan mest sammenligne det med, at man lægger sig i noget dejligt vand, og så bare flyder. Den der fornemmelse af at være lidt flydende. Hvilket også var det, jeg oplevede rent fysisk, var sådan en flydende, lidt svævende fornemmelse, uden at have indtaget noget. Bare sådan en dejlig, bare lidt flydende fornemmelse. Og det synes jeg også på en måde, at der var en åbenhed i der ligesom indfandt sig på en anden måde end jamen for mig i hvert fald, lige pludselig betød det ikke noget, at de sessioner var ikke ret lange, eller vi havde rejst pokker mig langt for at komme dertil, og det var ligesom, det var bare sådan noget uden for mig på en måde, ja, altså de havde oven i købet ligesom gjort et nummer ud af, at man skulle heller ikke bruge det, fordi nu skulle man lave networking, og nu skulle man have folks visitkort, og nu skulle man lave grupper, og bla bla. Nej, lad være med det. Prøv bare at være i det her space. Prøv bare at være i det her space. Og ja. Det var det, jeg vil sige.
Vi ender med at lave en LC, hvor vi siger, det var vist det, jeg havde at sige i dag.
det var også sådan ligesom, nu har vi alle sammen noget, den der gode følelse, den der gode stemning, så fint, så er dagen, nu har I fået det, I skal lære i dag. Det var det. Fordi det er det. Og I skal heller ikke alle sammen være coaches. I skal ikke alle sammen skrive bøger. Og det handler ikke om, hvor mange kurser I deltager i, og hvor mange dit og dat og dut. Hold op. Stop. Nej, altså. Jo.
Okay. Harry, you were waving.
Yeah, Chris and Doris, when I picked you up, which was right after Salt Spring, you had spent your week there, one of the things I noticed was how confident you felt in making decisions together. Did you see that your relationship had gone up together and in the harmony? Because you were able to handle difficult situations with a very definitive, not assertive, but strong way that you were indicated you were very secure with altercations or things that didn't quite fit in, like we had that one day where we were trying to figure it out. But you were very, very, seemed to be very clear in your own mind what you wanted to do. Would you say that was accurate, or?
Yeah, because just to, what I was talking about before was this being more in the silence, or it's as if, when there's less noise, it's much easier to see what clearly.
I love that.
I guess you're right. I hadn't thought of it like that, but yes, it becomes very easy to. I felt also it came very easy to feel now. Well, if I'm tired, I'm tired.
Exactly.
If I'm feeling good, I'm feeling good. Before, I would be more like, if I'm tired, no, I shouldn't be tired. And then the blah blah and the analysis and, you know, why am I this and that, and just accepting whatever is in the flow right now.
Isn't that make life a lot easier?
Yeah.
That's all I'm doing too, by the way. So decisions aren't actually as complicated as we make them in our life. We overthink too much. And if we trust that intuitive feeling, it just works out a lot easier and a lot less stressful. And the other thing I noticed, Doris, with you was you felt not only strong, and you're a quiet person with very deep feelings, but you were able, when you did talk, you were able to express them. It seemed like in a very clear way. Is that accurate as well, or?
That's hard for me to judge. I mean, I usually, I don't feel that's any different from what it used to be, but then again, I don't perceive myself from the outside, so it's hard for me to answer really.
Okay. I wonder if anyone else has a question for them.
Just let me come with an example.
Oh, okay, great.
We had not booked a rented vehicle. We had not rented a vehicle from before we came to the island. So we did get a car for about the first days we were there. But then in the weekend, we wanted a car too. And they did not have any cars. The only thing they had you could drive in was a gigantic truck. This is really a very large vehicle. And you have to climb up into it. And the funny thing about it was that you know, I just felt, yeah. And Doris, and I think usually there'd be some kind of discussion, or is this dangerous, or how are we going to do this? Or they even have parking spots in Salt Spring Island, especially designed for these large four-wheel drive trucks. And I just felt, yeah. So yes, in a way, it was just like anything just seemed like a natural flow. And yes, we got that truck. It was the last one on the island. And so we had this almost magical feeling that things just, you know, happened, and they were already, everything was kind of in some kind of alignment, or even, you know, no resistance, no overthinking. Yeah.
And didn't the truck actually turn out to be kind of a gold mine for you? It sounded like you went to some interesting places with it.
Yeah, up to the top of the mountain.
How was that?
Oh, it's so beautiful. It's a magical Mount Maxwell, beautiful place to see.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Ja. Det skulle vist have været på dansk, jeg ved ikke rigtigt.
Ja, men det er helt fint. Christian, jeg har et par enkelte bemærkninger, fordi jeg tror, en af de spørgsmål, som man kan stille sig sådan...
Lyden bliver lidt mærkelig.
Det kan være at tage fra København til Salt Spring Island for at være derovre i 3... Hvad siger du? Kan I høre mig?
Ja, nu kan jeg godt.
Kan I høre mig? Ja. Det er min telefon, som sandsynligvis kører lidt og frem og tilbage med mig, fordi herovre på Bornholm. Men det korte og lange, det er, det som jeg synes kunne være interessant at høre, det er en lang tur. Og er det turen værd at tage over i de der 3,5 dage? Og jeg vil personligt gerne starte med at besvare det, simpelthen fordi for det og mit vedkommende var det en magisk oplevelse. Og jeg tror, at en af de ting, som bidrog til magien, var, at der var en helt speciel stemning på øen, og en helt speciel stemning blandt de deltagere, der var til stede derovre. Det er første gang, jeg har nået at deltage i, hvad jeg vil kalde et homøopatisk kursus, altså hvor less is more. Og jeg kan huske, at da de startede med at fortælle os, at nu var der break, der vi snakket i 2,5 timer, så var der break resten af dagen, tænker jeg selv, det har jeg simpelthen ikke rejst så langt for, altså. Og det viste sig at være virkelig en virkelig fornuftig beslutning, fordi det er så massivt, og man har virkelig brug for at gå rundt og fordøje det, der er blevet sagt i løbet af de timer, som samtalerne og præsentationer, historikken og så videre bød på. Og jeg havde personligt en oplevelse af, plus imens Chip Chipman og Elsie Spittle, som er de to mennesker, som kører skolen videre efter Sydney Banks. Da Chip han sad og snakkede, så var det ligesom om, at ordene forsvandt, og ordene blev mere til en slags energibærebølge, og som gjorde, at jeg pludselig var i en helt anden tilstand, end jeg har prøvet at være i før. Og det var en tilstand af enhedsfornemmelse og enhedsfølelse med hele resten af forsamlingen derovre. En slags fantastisk kærlighedsfølelse. Det var virkelig imponerende. Og en klarhed, som jeg simpelthen aldrig nogensinde har oplevet før. Og den her klarhed, den holdt sig faktisk en uges tid bagefter, og så dampede det stort set af. Men indimellem, så opdagede jeg, at jeg sagde noget, som faktisk var ufattelig intelligent. Jeg vidste slet ikke, hvor det kom fra, men der var nogen, der stillede nogle spørgsmål og så videre, og jeg havde nogle svar, som var virkelig dybe. Altså, jeg tænkte, det kan du godt gå og tænke lidt over, det du lige har svaret på. Altså, det var en meget, meget mærkelig tilstand at være i. Og heldigvis så vender den tilbage en gang imellem, altså, fordi nu har man stiftet bekendtskab med dem, så man ved nogenlunde, hvordan det føles, når man er i den. Men for vores vedkommende, eller for mit vedkommende i hvert fald, var det en fantastisk oplevelse, trods for, at det var relativt kort tid. Hvad var det, 3,5 dage, ikke? Det hele drejer sig om. Så det er helt klart, som I gjorde, at det er rigtig fornuftigt at kombinere det med noget yderligere ferie her. Men jeg vil også sige, at hvis man spurgt i dag, vil du tage dig over bare for de 3,5 dage, så vil jeg sige ja. Simpelthen fordi påvirkningen er så massiv. Og udbyttet, som man umiddelbart ikke synes måske, det vokser på en. Altså på en eller anden måde, så er det ligesom om, der bliver sået nogle frø, som bliver ved med at vokse. Og pludselig så er man kommet ind i en tilstand og føler sig som en del af noget, som i virkeligheden for mig føles at være det, som er mit purpose, og det, som jeg synes er det, som jeg gerne beskæftiger mig med. Fordi jeg kan simpelthen ikke lade være med andet, efter at være stiftet bekendtskab med det.
Må jeg... Ja. Jeg prøver at svare, men jeg vil lige først sige... Jeg fik en indsigt derovre, og det var også på grund af den her lejede bil, fordi de har automatgear i USA, i Canada, og min venstre fod, den vil jo bruge bremsen som kobling. Så prøv at forestille jer, at man er på...
Det kan du ikke.
Nej, man er på parkeringspladsen, så skal man frem, og så kommer man til at bruge sin venstre ben, og så gør bilen sådan der, og det er temmelig ubehageligt. Så den indsigt, jeg fik, det var, og det er en spirituel indsigt, selvom det handler om biler, for jeg delte den også på skolen, det var, at det, der løste problemet, det var, at jeg holdt op med at bruge venstre fod. Altså, at jeg besluttede mig for, at jeg skal ikke bruge venstre fod. Og så kunne jeg sagtens køre, ingen problemer, alt var perfekt. Så det er lidt det samme med arbejdet her med principperne, det er virkelig et fravalg. Det er et spørgsmål om at holde op med at gøre noget, man plejer at gøre. Ja. Og så sker det andet af sig selv. Den spirituelle klarhed, den dybe følelse, alt det andet, det er der allerede. Det har hele tiden været der. Men det er bare blevet blokeret af ens venstre fod. Giver det mening? Ikke?
Det er udmærket, okay.
Så det billede, der jeg har der, det er så meget tydeligt for mig, at jeg kunne sagtens køre den der bil, eller vi kan sagtens leve vores liv. Vi skal bare lige være opmærksom på, at der er måske noget, vi skal lade være med at gøre. Og det er at bruge intellektet som det der redskab til at håndtere vores følelser og dit og dat. det er ganske udmærket at have et intellekt og bygge en storebæltsbro, men det er sådan en dårlig idé at bruge sit liv til at komme til at intellektualisere eller overtænke sit liv, når livet rent faktisk lever sig selv, helt af sig selv. Det er egentlig det, som Sydney Banks han peger på. Og det er så simpelt, at intellektet selvfølgelig ikke kan få en skid, ikke? Man kan jo sagtens sidde på kurset og tænke, hvornår starter det? Nu vil de snart komme med nogle gode råd, og hvornår kommer der nogle modeller, jeg kan bruge? Det gør der ikke. Det er noget, du skal lade være med at gøre. Det er i hvert fald, det gav sådan en mening for mig, at vi har glemt at så at sige, koble ud. Den kan selv, den her. Det kører helt af sig selv. Der er ikke noget, vi skal ikke lave 3 mantraer og stå på hovedet og meditere på et chakra. Nej. Stop. Hold kæft.
Det er jo egentlig interessant, hvordan vi har fået den vildfarelse, at vi hele tiden skal gøre noget og tænke os til noget, fordi når det kommer til vores krop, så ved vi jo godt, at den selv ligesom finder ud af at trække vejret og ilte blodet og en hel masse processer, der foregår hele tiden. Og jeg kan da hurtigt forestille mig, hvor galt det kunne gå, hvis man skulle styre det med sin tænkning. Ikke? Altså det er, der ligger en anden intelligens, der er meget, meget bedre til det. Og det ved vi godt, og det accepterer vi som helt naturligt. Men det er ligesom om, på nogle andre niveauer, der tror vi, at det hele, det skal vi forstå. Altså, jeg forstår for eksempel heller ikke ret mange ting om det, der foregår i min krop. Der er rigtig mange meget avancerede processer, jeg ikke forstår en pind af. Og det har jeg ikke noget problem med. Men på andre områder, der har vi sådan en idé om, om hvorfor er det nu sådan, jeg skal også kunne forstå det, og så skal jeg kunne, ja, og så videre. Og jeg ved ikke, hvorfor vi tror, vi skal det, men det skal vi jo egentlig ikke.
Så ja, det er meget simpelt.
Er der nogen, der har nogle kommentarer eller noget, som gerne vil unmute, så I kan spørge eller øjeblik?
I have a question, of course.
Hold on a second, Mette Louise has just...
Oh, better yet. Excuse me. No, go ahead, Mette.
No, I didn't want to say anything. I'm enjoying the feeling, so okay. It was just...
Okay. Yes, Harry?
One of the things we experienced together was this wonderful evening on Salt Spring where we went out to eat together at this incredible restaurant overlooking the water. And Pernille, how was the feeling in that room where the three of us really strangers, not you and of course Christian, but to me, strangers, how we so easily bonded together. And to me, that was the beginning of the Zoom room. Like that feeling created this on Salt Spring Island. How was that feeling? Did you feel about that?
I felt so calm. I felt very calm. But I had the experience Doris and Chris just told. When we're sitting there the second day, after 2 hours, they said, please go out and join. Just go out. And I got furious. I got so disappointed. Until I got down and we went to the small square. And some of the other people said, Julian, for some people he had met who used to be with Sid. So we were just with them and just had a very, very nice afternoon. But I was very disappointed in the beginning. Yeah, it's so different to be there from what we usually see.
The first time I went, I was disappointed too at the beginning, just to let you know. It took me a while to step inside to see what it actually is. And so I had exactly the same experience as you had. And of course, when it popped through, then all of a sudden I had the exact opposite experience from it. It was just turned out I needed I needed to crack through some of the things that I was stuck in, you know, which of course I should never admit on this show because everyone. But I've got news for you. I have to crack through also. Yeah.
But you know, one thing I really have observed is, Doris, just like you, and it's still like that. I just don't feel like talking like I used to do. I used to talk and talk and talk, but I don't feel like talking now. It's very strange. I don't feel like calling people just to talk to them or anything. It's very strange and different from what it used to be.
We all experience that. You know, it's just a transformation that we can't understand or explain, but we realize we have become quieter and deeper in the.
I can confirm
that. And of course, I would imagine, Christian,
Chris?
that makes, oh, something, just go ahead.
No, it's all right.
Okay. Well, one of the benefits of getting quieter is, of course, your partner gets to reap the benefits of that, because a lot of the old talk was a lot of insecurity and noise and irritation, which he would agree with, but inside he'd have to say, the same old stuff. And when you're quieter, what comes out is a freshness. And what I've noticed with you, I really noticed it in London. You have stepped with the feeling inside yourself. You don't have to, like Doris, you don't have to express it here. That's unimportant. You express it here. And I noticed how much more radiant and alive you were in London. And it wasn't.
Is that me? Are we talking about me?
I am.
Great.
Yeah, you know, so.
Thank you.
So what we're not trying to express a bunch of words and we have all the right words to say that the world wants to hear. It's about our feeling inside ourselves. And you know, when I look at Chris and Doris, they were nice enough to invite me to Denmark and stay 2 days with them. But I did feel a more of a radiance since they've come from Salt Spring, that a radiance of sharing a spiritual positive feeling to the world. And that's a pretty nice feeling. And when I was with Christian and Pernille, it was a different type of feeling, but it was the same thing. It was as we stepped deeper and deeper into the feeling of life, their wisdom started to pour out. And I want to emphasize that we're very, very interested in our own wisdom, but it is very, very beautiful when you're with somebody and they relax with you. And that's a powerful, powerful message. When I'm with my kids or my grandkids or my friends, I know it's noticeable to me that I'm interfering less with the actual reality of what makes a comfortable, cozy moment. Yeah, moment to moment to moment type of thing.
Okay. Thank you, Harry. Der nogen, der har ellers nogle spørgsmål til Chris, eller?
Doris.
Ja.
Eller Doris.
Ja. Chris, havde du nogle billeder, som du ville dele, eller hvordan var det?
Jeg har en lille smule. Jeg prøver lige at lave en sharing på det her i hvert fald. Det kan I jo se, hvor smukt det er, ikke? Så det er op fra det store bjerg, Mount Maxwell på øen. Og derovre bagved, altså hele bjergremmen derovre bagved, altså det er så der, blandt andet også Vancouver er. Og det ligger jo sådan et bjergeområde, som det er fuldstændig, altså det er klart, at når man er sådan et område der, så understøtter det selvfølgelig også den der fornemmelse af, at man er det der, det er ligesom stort på en anden måde, en meget stærk natur. Jeg har også nogle andre billeder, der skal jeg nok poste på et tidspunkt, men det er jo bare sådan lige for at give en fornemmelse af den der måde, man kan få den der storheds, til at føle sig lille, ligesom jeg også kender fra Vesterhavet, ikke? Den der fornemmelse af plads højt til luftet.
Ja. Chris, hvor blev kurset holdt?
Det blev holdt i nogle bygninger og sådan noget, der hed Lions Club, som lå lidt uden for Ganges.
Okay.
Byen hedder Ganges, ligesom Gangesfloden i Indien.
Ja.
Opkaldt efter et britisk militærfartøj. Men
var det i gåafstand fra hotellet?
Ja, cirka. Vi havde så den her bil, som...
Ja, den lille bil.
Men ja, der var lidt af en god tur der. Men dejligt sted. Ja.
Vil du sige noget med det?
Jeg plejer at sige en masse, men der er ikke så mange ord. Var der flere spørgsmål, eller?
Nej, tror jeg ikke. Er der andre, der har nogle spørgsmål til det? Okay.
Men der er også andre på det her lige nu, som har været der, så vidt jeg kunne se.
Hvem har yderligere været der? Susanne, har du været der?
Ja, hun skal lige unmutes.
Ja, hun er...
Ja.
Jeg var der i 2014.
Om sommeren?
Ja, i juni.
Ja. Hvordan var din oplevelse af det?
Ja, men jeg var jo advaret på forhånd af en veninde, der var fra Vancouver, som fortalte, at der havde været en tysk dame, og hun var blevet meget, meget vred. Fordi efter en time, sådan en lørdag eller fredag, så sagde Elsie, nu holder vi pause. Og så efter man havde holdt frokost og pause, så gik der 1,5 time om eftermiddagen, så sagde hun, nu holder I fri resten af dagen. Og hun sagde ligesom, nu har jeg betalt alle de her penge. Hun fandt ikke lige, hvad det drejede sig om. Så hun var rigtig sur. Men da jeg fik det at vide, så tænkte jeg, shit. Det er sådan, det er, ikke også? Det er en time her, og måske 1,5 time der. Så jeg vidste, at jeg var ligesom forberedt, og så tænkte jeg, fint. Så jeg spillede golf, og vi var rundt og kiggede på øen, og vi gik ture, og vi hyggede os, så det var fantastisk.
Ja. Det er en speciel kursusstruktur, kan man roligt sige, men den er fantastisk effektiv. Jeg har aldrig nogensinde været ude for noget, der var så effektivt. Fordi de fleste kurser, de har det med at overlevere, og det vil sige, de drukner folk i stof her, så man er jo nærmest har forstoppelse, når man går derfra. Og her havde man virkelig mulighed for at få fordøjet det, man fik blive præsenteret for. Jeg synes, det var en super måde at gøre det på.
Skal jeg sige noget på engelsk eventuelt?
Ja, det synes jeg er rigtig fint.
What comes to me, I was there in 2014 for 10 days. And I had an experience one morning in 4 months before June that I was kind of told inwards that I should go in June and not in November. And it was a really weird experience. And I knew, that I had to follow this inner voice. And it said to me it would transform my life. And I never really discovered why it was so important for me to be there exactly at that time. But then later it came to me that Eckhart Tolle, he has his summer house in Salt Spring Island.
I didn't know that.
Okay. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Uh-huh. And some years before he was writing his first book, he had this inner wisdom telling him to go to Canada. And he ended up in Vancouver. And he found out that afterwards that he could write there, and he could not have been writing the books that he did write in UK. because the energy over there was so much different. Somehow that was what was needed for him to write his books.
Interesting.
So
very interesting.
So I thought to me, wow, maybe there's more to this than just, about the three principles. This is about the energy, that there's a certain very unique energy in the area. And that also somehow impacts us, or I can feel it has impacted me, but I didn't see it until 3 years later.
But you didn't meet him?
Meet?
Eckhart Tolle.
No.
Wow. I thought that was...
You're right about the power of the magnificence of where you're at. The Hawaiians call this mana, when you connect with like a beautiful sunset. Obviously, within a beautiful sunset, there's the ability to go into where nature, our nature, and the universal nature become one. And when that happens, we experience something very, very special. And without our own connection to it, which is what you're really talking about, it's just an outside beauty. But when we bring our own inside touching connection to that, what happens is we soar like the eagles. We touch feelings that we know are in us, or we have forgotten are in us, or we uncover new feelings that the natives call mystical. And if you're calling it a mystical island, I would have to agree with you. It is.
Some people call places for power places. I think it's a power place. There's a certain very unique energy there. Yeah. And it has nothing to do with the three principles, or maybe it has everything to do with it.
Yeah.
Well, it did attract Sid, and he did live there for a huge part of his life and ended up going back there. So he would probably agree with you.
But Mette Louise, you were also on Salt Spring Island.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, that.
Are you there?
Øjeblik. Yeah.
Tak. That's true. I was there. I don't even remember if it is 1 or 2 years ago in the summertime too. Skal jeg tale dansk eller engelsk?
Ja, du kan lige så godt tale engelsk, så kan Harry få lov til at deltage også. Vi er ikke så mange.
Okay. But my insight over there was very different. Because when I heard the first few words about the principles, I fell back into this space inside of me, and I was in this Salt Spring feeling for. I was there very strongly for half a year, and I just felt my head was silenced as a church, and I was like I was falling in love with everybody. And that was just in the middle of Denmark, and I'd never heard about the principles before, and it was so obvious to me that this was from the inside out. And then when Jack Pransky said, "Why don't you come to Spain and do this training I'm doing?" And I was like, "Why would I do that?" It's not you, and it's not in Spain. And I did it, and it was really nice, and I loved it. But it was still so obvious. It's something. It's everything. It's something deeper than the form. So, and it's everywhere, and it's inside of me, and everywhere, and in everyone. And then when I heard about a training or an arrangement, or like the conference in London, and just like Chris said, like, I don't remember how you said it in the beginning, but something like being in alignment and just knowing what to do and the things unfold in the right way. I just knew immediately if I wanted to go. I just knew. And every training and arrangement I went to was so beautiful. I loved it. I felt I was dissolving into this formless energy, and I was so high spirited. And then at one point I had a thought that came from another place, and it was like the intellect. I thought it might be a good idea for me to go to Salt Spring. I thought it might be a thing to do. So I went over there in a whole other feeling. And it was the first time that I didn't go on the flow, but on the, it might be a good idea. So I went over there and I had a fine stay, and it was nice, but it was so different. And it really hit me how obviously it never was in Salt Spring. And I was like, well, Sid told us it's not in India, it's not this and there. So, it's not in Salt Spring. So I was just kindly reminded of the very, very first feeling I got when I heard Thought Creates Feeling, and I never heard about Sydney Banks because it's us. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed the experience, but it was different. It was the first time I didn't dissolve into the feeling. Actually, I really, it was because just before I had this feeling like I want to stay home with my kids more, go to less trainings.
Good.
So I missed my kids over there, and I was so happy to come home.
You mentioned something extremely important. Don't go running after all this training, guys. It's inside you. That's Sid's message. You have it. You have it. You have to live it. You go running after everything, you're just giving power to the other people. What you're talking about, Matt, is you got what you needed on Salt Spring. It was totally different than what Chris and Doris got, or Christian and Pernille, but you got what you needed, which was, I'm going to just be an ordinary mom, living my life and be a psychologist when I work, but I want to, it's not on Salt Spring. It's not in Sydney Banks. It's in me. And we need that feeling, or else we have nothing. I, more than anybody, followed Sydney Banks as a guru. That was a big, big drawback. Really held me back. You don't want that. It's not on Salt Spring. It's in you. And you experience something so ordinary. And a lot of people have to get that message. They get into the 3 principles and then they want to do training. And they always have this feeling, I don't know enough, so I'm going to do more training. You do know enough. All you have to do is share.
Can I say something?
Du på, yeah.
Really what it is, it's like a mirror. So it's just mirroring what you're getting. So what I hear you say, Mette Louise, is it's just showing you what's real. No? Mm-hmm. So that was what you needed, and it'll show something else to someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what wisdom does. So
it is.
So it's not got anything to do with a place. It's just it shows up when you're open to it, and it says, "Well, I should be home with my kids." Wow. Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's
1 hour.
And it's like, sorry?
No,
it's like,
please.
It's like it's not. I think what I just was reminded about, and that I had that really strongly, was trust the feeling, because it's not about if it's whether for me whether it was right or wrong to go to trainings, because when I felt like it was beautiful, and I came from this obnoxious feeling that it's not out there, so I don't need anything from it, but I can hang out here and love this whatever I get from it. So I just got that clearer, like, okay, yeah, that was the intellect. That's not the feeling.
Yeah.
And you're also living the level of consciousness that you are, rather than what you want to be or don't feel you are. It's very important just to be yourself, and that's where you'll grow in being yourself. And I just see that a beautiful person emerged because she stopped jumping all over the place and searching for it, and just settled in with the feeling in herself. And that's the message of Sid Banks, is that we have this very relaxed, easy feeling inside ourselves. And when we go with that, life has a tendency to reflect, as to use Chris' image, mirror what we're feeling inside. And that's the way it works anyway. So I'd have to say you scored a bullseye.
I think what for me was is going to Salt Spring. At one point I'd seen some images from British Columbia of the mountains and the bay, and I just had this notion, yeah, this is so beautiful, I'll have to see it. That was an inner feeling, just wow, you know, as if I already knew it. And the same feeling with these people we met Harry and Marty and Cheryl, all the Sydney Banks acquaintances. We met Karen Miller Williams and Mark Williams and Richard and Marika, all the old crowd from the Sydney Banks time. We met them in Vancouver, and it was just like a feeling of you know, how easy it was to be together and just, you know, share, and like a bit like in fact it's the same family. Or so we just had this very nice getting to know hearing some of the old stories too about Sydney Banks, because he could be a complicated guy, you know. Sometimes he would like someone, and other times he would dislike someone, and you know, that's, you know, all kinds of stuff would go on, and then the solution would come, and what we really heard was this was just, you know, an ordinary guy, but with an extraordinary insight that we all can have. So, and that's, I think it's nice to get this feeling that it's not a mythical guru-like person, but it's, you know, we could have had a beer together. Yeah.
And
nice.
a laugh.
Exactly.
Because he had a big sense of humor.
Yeah. You can hear that on the tapes. And I do feel that the tapes are different from me now. I listened to the, you know, Hawaii lectures all the way from Vancouver to Denmark, a new headset, and I felt I got so much more out of listening to this, what he said, as if there was this dimension in it that I could not hear before. And I can really say that was also very emphasized on the school. Listen to the tapes, read the books, you know. And I feel that I'm reading, a different part of me is engaging than before. And it's small nuances. It's also what's not being said, and it's the humor and the jokes. There's a lot of stuff. There's an awful lot of information that's kind of hidden from the intellect. So you have to listen to it in a different way, or in the feeling or whatever. So that's my experience. Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about that is that in a year you'll listen to the same DVD, and it will have the same, because it's unending. The truth is unlimited in levels of consciousness, and as Sid said, our job is to unveil levels of consciousness, and of course we keep unveiling it, and the truth just gets more and more sublime, or more and more rewarding, or as you described it, you know, Chris, beautifully, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
Maybe could I describe an experience I had at the school?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. What Chris and everybody's talking about is these beautiful feelings that come in, but within the beautiful feelings, the primary purpose of Syd Banks is messages, insights for the person. And I'd like to share an insight that I had at the school. And sometimes when you've been around a long time and you're teaching, and I teach in heavily addicted and native worlds, and actually in a lot of worlds now, and when you're teaching, you have a conflict. You think you know, so you're teaching it, but you don't know because you haven't experienced it. This was one of Syd's very big messages. Speak what you know. You'll never get into trouble there. So I'm sitting at the school, and I've been about 4 or 5 times because I live very close to Salt Spring. And I don't go all the time because I don't want to be a follower of it. It's not my interest to do that. But I'm sitting there, and this time I went with a different attitude. I went with an attitude, I don't care about anybody else. I'm just going to relax and be myself. I don't care about networking. I don't care about it. I'm just there. We'll see what happens. And I'm in a totally relaxed state of mind. And I listened to the first day. And I'm lucky that Jim Beck, who's an old Salt Springer, he's away and he's given me his house to stay at. And so I have a fire on, I have lots of food, and I'm sitting back there. And I go, Elsie had talked about her numerous times, I've heard it, about her thought creates feelings, it's insight. And I was sitting there and I went, wait a sec. Elsie's one of the most spiritual ladies I know, maybe the most spiritual lady I know. And yet her insight is so psychological. That just doesn't make sense. How do those two things come together? And I could see in my relaxed state of mind that I couldn't see that connection. So I decided the next morning I would ask her. But the next morning came in and they talked about anybody have insights, and people started talking. I says, well, I'll just listen. And while she was talking, she answered my question. And this is the power of truth. You don't know you answer someone's question, yet you do. And Syd had that all the time. Pernille has that all the time. Chris has that all the time. So anyway, she said, as she's talking, she said, all insights are spiritual. And all of a sudden, it was like a snake was going through my body, physically going through my body, bringing these two worlds together. And it was like the skins, about 10 layers of skin was physically being ripped off me. And all of a sudden I was raw and just open, and those two worlds were one. And that was the first time I'd ever seen that the psychological and the spiritual world are one. I had taught it a lot, but I'd never seen it, never experienced it. And from that point on, the power of what I was sharing was more punch. I didn't do it. It just happened. And the power of an insight changes our world. And as you know, and then all of a sudden, life gets easier. That's how Syd said. Life will get easier and easier. Not uncomplicated, it's a contact sport. But, but easier and easier. And to my surprise, magic has happened. And all of a sudden this is the second other Zoom room I do is in heavily addicted area. It's very, very successful. This Zoom room already to me feels successful, to be honest. And it's a collective effort. It's never one person's. It's a collective sharing. And, it's a beautiful sharing. But the two worlds, psychological and spiritual, are one and the same thing. And if you can see that, you'll be able to enjoy your whole universe without a lot of criticism.
Is that a great note to end this session on? Okay. Then I would like to say thanks to everybody. Tak for jer, og tak til Chris og Doris, fordi I fortalte lidt om jeres oplevelser derovre, og tak for alle jer andre, fordi I deltog i det, sådan så at vi fik lidt overveksling ud af det. Det var rigtig dejligt igen, og jeg håber, vi ses en gang i august måned, når vi kører i gang igen. Tusind tak. Kan I have en god sommer.
Jo, tak lige måde.
Hej.
Vel tak. Hej hej.
Have a great summer, guys.
Bye.
I'm out on the ocean in 10 minutes, so
Love you.
love you guys. Yeah, thank you so much, eh?
Bye-bye.
And Pernille and Christian, enjoy the island that you're on.
Thank you. We'll do.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You lucky dogs. Okay.